السلام عليكم، اهلا بكم في درس جديد من دروس كتاب Get Smart 2 للصف الثاني. النهارده ان شاء الله معنا درس Our World Student Book كتاب الطالب pages 66 67 66 67. We have some verbs. Let's listen and repeat.
Get up. Get up. Get up.
Get up ينهض من الفراش.
Go to school. Go to school. Go to school.
Go to school يذهب للمدرسة.
Go home. Go home. Go home.
يرجع للبيت أو يعود للبيت.
Go to bed. Go to bed. Go to bed.
يذهب للفراش أو للنوم. Again.
Get up. Get up. Go to school. Go to school. Go home. Go home. Go to bed. Go to bed.
These are some of daily activities. بعض الأنشطة اليومية اللي معظمنا بيسويها. Activity 1. Look and listen. Let's listen then read.
Activity 1. Look and listen.
Children around the world.
Kevin is from Dublin, Ireland. Salim is from Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. What do they do every day?
What time do you get up?
I get up at 8 o'clock.
I get up at 6 o'clock.
What time do you go to school?
I go to school at 9 o'clock.
I go to school at 7 o'clock.
What time do you go home?
I go home at 3 o'clock.
I go home at 2 o'clock.
What time do you go to bed?
I go to bed at 10 o'clock.
I go to bed at 9 o'clock.
Children around the world. We have two boys, Kevin and Salim. Kevin is from Dublin, Ireland. Salim is from Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. What do they do every day? اسألهم عن الأشياء أو الأنشطة اللي بيسووها يوميا. ماذا يفعلوا كل يوم؟ What do they do every day? And what time وفي أي وقت؟ يعني ماذا يفعلوا؟ عرف منهم بعض الأنشطة وهنا بيسألهم what time do they do these activities؟ ومتى يفعلوا هذه الأشياء؟ Question 1. What time في أي وقت؟ لما يسأل what time يبقى محتاج تذكر له ساعة، وقت محدد. حتى عنوان الوحدة كان on time. What time do you get up؟ متى تستيقظ؟ What time do you get up؟ Kevin says I get up at 8 o'clock. بالنسبة لكيفن بيستيقظ الساعة 8. سليم I get up at 6 o'clock. Another question. What time do you go to school؟ متى تذهب للمدرسة؟ What time do you go to school؟ Kevin I go to school at 9 o'clock. سليم I go to school at 7 o'clock. واتكلمنا عن telling the time in lesson 2. في الدرس الثاني اتعلمنا ازاي تحكي عن الوقت او ازاي تخبر بالوقت. Another question. What time do you go home؟ متى ترجع للبيت، تعود للمنزل من المدرسة؟ I go home at 3. This is Kevin. And Salim I go home at 2 o'clock. What time do you go to bed؟ متى تذهب للفراش للنوم؟ Kevin I go to bed at 10 o'clock. Salim I go to bed at 9 o'clock. لما تحب تعرف الشخص متى يفعل هذا الشيء في أي وقت في أي ساعة تحديدا ask using what time. What time. وده اللي تعلمناه. What time do you get up؟ I get up at 7 o'clock. What time do you do your homework؟ متى تفعل واجباتك؟ At 2 o'clock or at 7 o'clock or 7 p.m. What time do you have dinner? What time do you have lunch? What time do you watch TV? You can ask different questions. Activity 2. Look at activity 1 and tick. 1. I get up at 8 o'clock. Who gets up at 8 o'clock? Kevin or Salim? It's Kevin. 2. I go to school at 7 o'clock. Kevin or Salim? It's Salim. I go home at 3 o'clock. Kevin or Salim? It's Kevin. 4. I go to bed at 9 o'clock. Kevin or Salim? It's Salim. Activity 3 find and stick then listen and number. في البداية هنجيب أجزاء الصور من نهاية الكتاب علشان نكمل بيها الصور اللي معانا A, B, C and D. Then listen and number 1 to 4.
Activity 3. Find and stick. Then listen and number 1 to 4.
1.
What time do you get up?
At 7 o'clock.
2.
What time do you go to bed?
At 10 o'clock.
1. What time do you get up? At 7 o'clock. 2. What time do you go to bed? At 10 o'clock. Which one? Going to bed at 10 o'clock. A, C or D? It's picture A.
3.
What time do you go to school?
At 8 o'clock.
3. What time do you go to school? At 8 o'clock. C or D? Go to school at 8 o'clock. Picture D.
4.
What time do you go home?
At 2 o'clock.
What time do you go home? At 2 o'clock. Number 4. Activity 4. Ask and answer about the same activities. عن نفس الأنشطة اليومية. What time do you go to bed? You can ask your classmate, friend, brother. What time do you go home? What time do you go to bed? What time do you get up? What time do you go to school? At 9 o'clock, at 6 o'clock, at 2 o'clock, at 7 o'clock. Workbook كتاب النشاط page 56. Activity 1. Look and write. Write the words for these pictures. Go to bed, go home, get up, go to school. Number 1. Get up. What about 2? What is the verb for this picture? Go to bed, go home, go to school, go to bed. 3. What is the word for this picture? It's go home. And this picture, go to school. Activity 2. Write about your everyday activities. Talk about yourself. تكلم عن نفسك. Tell us what time do you do these activities. متى تفعل هذه الأشياء. What time do you get up? You can write at 6 o'clock, at 5 o'clock, at 4 o'clock, at 7 o'clock, whatever. 2. What time do you go to school? متى تذهب المدرسة? At 7 o'clock, at 8 o'clock. What time do you go home? At 1 o'clock, at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. 4. What time do you go to bed? متى تذهب للنوم? At 9, at 7, at 8, at 10, whatever. That's all for today. ده كان درس النهاردة. Thank you so much. أشوفكم إن شاء الله في درس جديد. Goodbye.